Well, friends, it looks like the Marvel Cinematic Universe might be getting a little less, woke. There are a bunch of rumors now swirling around Marvel Studios that are confirming that they were quietly cleaning house. Chris Gore over at Film Threat obviously all but confirmed that this was happening, and I have a sense that it not only did, but it still is. This is happening months ago, but the purge hasn't stopped because a longtime executive named Dave Bushore is now gone. He's just gone. He was there for 15 years at Marvel and certainly was on board with that fictional, mythical, modern audience that doesn't seem to exist. Bushore's exit actually comes at a time when some interesting chatter is coming out of the hallways of the MCU. Apparently, producers that were labeled as activists that were shown the door months ago was basically just the beginning. And there may be more and more folks on their way out now. Now, I don't know if Mickey Mouse or Bob Iger was handing out the pink slips personally, but things are seemingly changing at Marvel. Let's dive on into what's going on over there. So you're probably wondering, who is Dave Bushore and why should you care? Well, Bushore was a Marvel VP. He was the VP actually of franchise creative and immersive development. He was the guy behind the Apple Vision Pro experience, that what if thing that was being developed, which by the way actually did win a Creative Arts Emmy Award. But there's only 12 other people that actually have one of those overly expensive contraptions, and they're probably the only ones that care. Look, the man clearly had some success, and I'll admit that getting Marvel all the way to the Venice International Film Festival was certainly quite the feat. It's kind of like inviting Hulk to a wine tasting. It's not exactly where Marvel belongs, not their usual crowd, but hey, it worked. It's kind of like getting Tony Stark in an Iron Man suit in a tux, having some delicious gelato to do a commercial for a Ferrari or something. I don't know. Anyway, I'm well and truly off on a tangent now, so let's fix that. Let's get to the meat of the story. The rumor has it that Kevin Feige and his team went about cleaning house all those months ago. Marvel insiders, again, according to Chris Gore from Film Threat, was basically saying this happened, and saying that Marvel just quietly let go these 15 people. Now, they weren't all producers. There were a bunch of producers, but they were the people that were labeled as activists, the people that were causing some troubles. You know, the ones that were responsible for the creative direction of Phase 4. And I don't mean activists like Captain America fighting for freedom. I'm talking about people pushing for agendas instead of focusing on great storytelling. And where have you heard that before? Apparently, Feige's team had a meeting and said, we tried, it didn't work. Well, when you look at the box office numbers, that's one way to put it. In fact, the Marvels found a whole new way to flop that I hadn't ever seen before. I don't think a lot of other people had seen it either, considering that stayed well and truly under $300 million worldwide, despite costing over $300 million to even make. That film and many others didn't even draw back enough money to pay back the budget, let alone even get anywhere near a profit. I have a feeling that those people kind of got what they deserved. Now, this is where we are so far, but I have to ask you before we go any further, what do you think? Do you think Marvel's Phase 4 missed the mark? Did it miss the mark for you? Was it the stories, the characters, or maybe the constant barrage of woke messaging and or proselytizing? I mean, nobody wants to go to a film and be preached at, do they? Drop a comment down below, let me know right here where you stood, or what stood out or didn't stand out for Phase 4. I'm curious, let me know. In fact, let's actually talk about my thoughts on why Phase 4 flopped, and let's see if you agree. Marvel had more than a few big misses here. The Marvels, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania. I guess I could probably go on, but there's really no point. I mean, these projects just didn't exactly light the world on fire. In fact, Disney reportedly at the same time lost about $4 billion on streaming content alone, and a lot of that was driven by Marvel and Star Wars content, which really didn't hit the mark. That's a ton of money. I'm starting to think that Iron Man should have reminded them to put some of that Avengers money away for a rainy day in that bank account that, seems to buy several executives a lot of things that really aren't associated with the company in the bonus form, like yachts and such. And when you compare those numbers of those failures with the incredible success of something like recent Deadpool and Wolverine, which is, I think, the only Marvel project that was greenlit under Bob Chapek, it's clear the fans want the old school heroes, not the new ones, not the watered down versions of, the greatness that used to exist. Hence the reason, of course, that they're bringing back RDJ, Robert Downey Jr. And as soon as they do that, I'm sure he'll be bait and switched out of that Doctor Doom role and hopefully replaced in a very different way. Because I think Doom Prime isn't RDJ. But what about you? What about you? Are you excited to see Marvel go back to fan favorites? Fan favorites like Deadpool, Wolverine, and similar? Or are you still holding out hope for some of these newer characters? I know some people are all in on the younger heroes, but it seems like the box office is speaking pretty loudly. Nobody's really enjoying it. Just like the comics, which seem to fall off a cliff as well. Anyway, drop your thoughts down below and let's talk about Marvels and where they should go next. Because I think Marvel needs to go somewhere next and it ain't the direction they were going before. Listen, at the end of the day, Marvel's got some very tough decisions ahead. Bushore is moving on for whatever reason. Probably to start some crazy new immersive experience where we're all going to be turned into holograms or something. Or maybe we can turn our holograms into like unicorns and butterflies. I don't know. Meanwhile, Marvel is going to be reevaluating what works. According to insiders, Phase 4 is officially in the rearview mirror. And thank goodness. Thank goodness indeed. Right now, they're focusing on Deadpool, Wolverine, and the male and pale moneymakers that probably should have never been abandoned. Oh, and definitely a lot fewer musical numbers going forward. And who knows? Maybe Marvel will actually get back to what made them a box office titan. Or they could make season 2 of She-Hulk and boost revenue for all of us, the Fellowship folks out here. That'd be kind of fun. I know I would be covering the Toxic Trash Fire daily. And I'm sure Mr. H and Midnight's Edge and Erotic and Dark 3PO and many others would appreciate that as well. It'd make us happy in an entirely other way for an entirely different set of reasons. Yet I'm hopeful that they will make the right decision, the one that makes them money and satisfies investors and consumers alike. Because ultimately, that's what you're supposed to be doing, Disney. Not that you're very good at it anymore. Again, I'll ask, what do you think? Is Marvel finally back on track? Or are they rather just shifting deck chairs on the Titanic? Hard to say. Let me know those thoughts down in the comments section below. I've only asked you 4 or 5 times to comment. And do, while you're down there, hit the like button. Share the video out there. And don't forget to subscribe or stay subscribed. Double check that. Make sure the notification bell's on. And that way, you won't miss anything that I do. And as always, be sure to take care of yourself. Take care of others. And until next time, see ya.